Buu has absorbed Cell, and now has Janembu's power too. But thankfully, Goku and Vegeta have fused, as have Gohan and Piccolo. Will this duo of fusions be able to stop Janembuu though? We'll be covering all that and more in this 9th part of What If Everything Was Canon. The fusions start fighting, and immediately it's pretty clear that Janembuu is way stronger than anyone they've ever faced before. The combined power of those two villains plus Cell, it's something that shouldn't be taken lightly. And just because they fuse doesn't mean they're going to have an easy time here. Gogeta thinks that if he were fighting this fight alone, he might not be able to do it. Right now he's fighting in Super Saiyan 2. And he can use Super Saiyan 3, but he knows it's probably going to drain him a lot. But even with Super Saiyan 3, he wonders if that would be enough power. Though, sensing Pikahan's power, he knows that the two of them combined definitely tip the scales. They do collectively overpower Janembuu here. Another issue is his abilities. Buu has all of the abilities of Cell, who has all the abilities of all the people he has DNA from, on top of abilities from Janemba and Buu. Buu even says he spent some time fighting the other people that came to the living world. Like he found Frieza and was able to fight him. Sadly, he couldn't find the resurrected Broly because he would have loved to absorb him. Oh great, it didn't even occur to them that all those villains came back. But Pikahan says not to worry because Gohan was able to stop any of the ones that came to Earth. But they should probably wrap this up quick before Broly does come back. That would be twice within the same week that he'd show up. Gogeta says it won't be a problem though. With this fused power, they could stop anyone, even Janembuu. And as Gogeta fights in Super Saiyan 2, he notices Pikahan doesn't transform. At least, it doesn't look like it. He's using a combined ultimate form, and it doesn't really change his appearance or anything. There's a slight golden tint to his hair, almost like Super Saiyan, but that's from Piccolo's side, since his Power Awakened form makes his skin more yellow, and he has that same golden aura around him. The potentials of both fighters are being drawn out, and both fusions are incredibly compatible. Goku and Vegeta get a nice boost from that, and Piccolo and Gohan are compatible too, being master and student and also rivals. Gogeta wonders which of the two of them is stronger. He says the two of them should turn this into a challenge. And while Pikahan is more focused on the fight, mainly because of the Piccolo side of him being so serious, he smirks. Both the fusees would love to test out their power as part of this fusion. Buu splits up into two, saying that this will even the playing field. But he warns them that his power is increasing further and further. Will they be able to handle two of him now? Well, Gogeta says this is the perfect challenge. Let's see what fusion can kill Buu first. Sounds good with me. The two fusions go full power, and now Buu is a little bit concerned. They start wailing on each of the pieces of him. Even though he cloned himself, he split his power to do so. Then he starts kind of getting desperate. He starts cloning himself even more and more. Their fight has already left hell by now, and Buu laughs. I'd love to see both of you try and handle all these clones. Good luck. This is meant as a distraction. A bunch of clones of Janemba fly around and start attacking all the dead souls there. Not to mention, they even go after some of the gods. They go after all of the Kai. King Kai's planet is destroyed and he's killed, as well as the Southeast and West Kai. The two fusions get more serious. He shouldn't have done that. Gogeta powers up into Super Saiyan 3, and asks Pikahan to lend him energy. Now it's time to finish this. When he asks for energy, he chuckles and says Janembuu's not the only one who can clone himself. A Gogeta clone appears and he's in base. Pikahan immediately knows what he's going for here, and then he mentally communicates with Pikkon too. He asks him to help. Pikkon then sticks a hand up, and Garlic Jr. is a bit confused, but Pikkon tells him to do the same. They do so. King Yema's watching, and he decides to help out too, telling everyone to follow along. And even though the Kai are dead, they were already in Otherworld, so they just come back to right where they were. And they communicate to everyone in their quadrants to try and help. Shin and Kibito are now on Earth with everyone. Since Buu was going around attacking the gods, they brought everyone back here because they'd probably be safer. But anyone still left on Earth, including all of the allies of Goku, they start lending energy. The souls of the living and dead help Gogeta. Surprisingly enough, even Dabra, who's now good and in heaven, decides to lend some energy too. He wasn't fond of Buu when he was first revived, but after Buu killed him, he wants some revenge too. Pikahan fights the Buu clones while Gogeta also fights them off, charging a tiny Spirit Bomb. But even though the Spirit Bomb is really small, that doesn't mean it lacks power. Gogeta didn't even know Spirit Bombs can get this powerful. He's compressed it to be very small, and then he pushes his own energy into it. As he's charging the Spirit Bomb, he creates a Soul Punisher. This way, he could charge the Spirit Bomb while transformed. But he could also combine his own attack into the Spirit Bomb. The Spirit Bomb's energy coalesces in his hand and starts pulsating with a rainbow color. This is no normal Spirit Bomb. This is what he'll call a Spirit Punisher. It's finally charged, and he launches the attack at Buu. Buu tries to dodge it by dematerializing, but that doesn't work. The Spirit Punisher homes into him, and then it spreads out like buckshot. A bunch of tiny Spirit Punishers fly around Otherworld and the living world. It homes onto any clones of Janembuu, with most of the power going towards the main one. Pikahan looks around him in amazement. A bunch of these small rainbow orbs fly everywhere, and Buu has no defense against them. And one by one, all of the Buu clones are destroyed. The power of these blasts shake the entirety of Otherworld, filling it with falling particles from the Spirit Bomb, as well as sparkles from the Soul Punisher. Buu is killed, and so is Janemba. The only thing left behind is that demon that actually turned into Janemba, the kid that messed up with the machine and absorbed all that power. He's floating in the middle of Otherworld, pretty terrified, and Gogeta de-transforms, then to go in to catch him. He didn't even realize that Janembuu was possessing someone else. But he smiles and then defuses, with Pikahan also defusing too. They didn't even realize that they used too much power. And Pikahan's pretty confused because he thought this fusion would be permanent. Looks like it isn't. Goku then looks over at Vegeta. See? They could have done that. Vegeta regrets having to do that silly dance, and he kinda wishes they just put on the earrings instead. Pikkon then communicates with everyone and says, "Garlic's gone." Pikkon tried to stop him, but he couldn't. He opened some weird portal and then went inside it. Oh, so he went back into the dead zone. Gohan laughs at this. He's sure they'll see him again. But Pikkon says he did contribute to the Spirit Bomb. Goku does think it's kind of a shame though, because with Buu's death, that means Cell died. He never actually got to fight Cell like he wanted. All the dead souls have returned to Otherworld, and the ones who shouldn't have died are going to be revived. They're going to make a wish to revive any good person killed so far. That is going to exclude Cell, and Buu obviously. While Shin and Kibito did take everyone back to Earth, Dende's still here with them. They wanted to keep him and the Dragon Balls close, so they went to a completely separate planet. Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, and Piccolo go there, and this is where they summon Shenron, and they make the wish. But as they're wishing for everyone to be revived, King Kai sends out a warning. Now, he hasn't been dead for long. The fight between Buu and the two fusions didn't last long, and then getting everything else in order didn't take too long. King Kai has only been dead for about 2 hours. This shouldn't be too big of an issue, and they're probably going to be back on Earth by the time this would even be an issue, but he says with him and all the other Kai dying, there was a seal that was broken, and there may be another enemy out there. Vegeta can't believe this. Great, another threat they have to deal with? Well, King Kai says he doesn't know where these threats are headed, but he says they're not nearly as strong as anybody that they fought today. He estimates that any one of them alone would be enough to fight that whole group. Well, they kinda have to deal with this right now too, and they're not going to be going to search around in space. But King Kai starts looking around, and you can't actually locate the key signatures. Let's rewind a little bit, about an hour beforehand. While Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo, and Gohan were still in Otherworld, sorting things out with King Yama and such, the other fighters that evacuated with Shin and Kibito are now back on Earth. And that threat that King Kai mentioned made pretty quick work, pretty much immediately after they were freed from their seal. Goten and Trunks just finished fighting a bunch of dead villains. Tien, Krillin, and 18 are back on Earth too, but Goten and Trunks have been here for a bit, and now all those dead villains are gone. But to their surprise, they sense 5 other strong presences coming to Earth, arriving pretty much right after Buu's defeat. Now, one of the issues is that they just lended energy to the Spirit Bomb, so they're a little drained, but the crew of villains shows themselves. It's the Hera clan, led by Bojack. With the Kaio all dying, the seal that held them was broken. And sensing the strong powers here, this is where they immediately went to. Tien, Krillin, 18, Goten, and Trunks prepare to fight Bojack, but he sends his henchmen after them first. And it actually isn't too hard to fight them. At one point, another fighter even joins them too. Yamcha shows up, and Goten and Trunks can't transform right away because of how drained they are. But even without that, the group is able to defeat the Hera clan. Until Kogu transforms, which kind of is an issue. Tien, Krillin, and Yamcha fight him together. And thanks to having infinite stamina, even though 18 did lend some Genki to the Spirit Bomb, she's at least not tired out because of that. So she uses her full power, and the 4 of them kill Kogu together. This lets Goten and Trunks rest a bit, because they know they're going to have to fight Bojack next. Goten and Trunks think they have some power left, so they then transform, going into Super Saiyan. Bojack's surprised these kids are so strong, as well as these Earthlings. He skips all the niceties, immediately transforming into his full power.
Time for the slaughter to begin.
With ease, he defeats most of the fighters. Goten and Trunks are more of an issue to him. But Tien, Yamcha, Krillin, and 18 are all taken out. 2 injured to fight. Goten and Trunks are nearly running on empty. Now, it's not like the Spirit Bomb completely wore them out, but it is enough to make a difference, especially after they spent so much time fighting all the dead people on Earth too. But they do put up a good fight. And even though they're worn out, they're determined to win this alone. Trunks turns to Goten. They could be the heroes here for once. They didn't really get to do much against Buu, but this is a time where they could actually show off their power and let everyone know what they're capable of. Goten nods. They were helpless against Broly. They were helpless against Buu. But here, they could win. They could achieve victory. The two push themselves to their limits, and so does Bojack. Goten and Trunks stand side by side, and they take on the exact same stance, each charging a Kamehameha, combining it into a single blast. Bojack rushes towards them with energy charge in his hands, and together, the 2 Hybrid Saiyans launch their attack. Bojack at first tanks it, and he tries to fly through it. He's getting injured by it, but he's pushing it back, and he continues flying towards the 2 of them. This blast is impressive, but it won't be enough to stop him. And as he continues charging towards them, he then feels something cut into his side, a combined Hyenzan from 18 and Krillin. It cuts pretty deep into him, leaving a gash in his torso, but he stops it from slicing him in half, grabbing it with one of his hands and breaking it. They caught him off guard, and they really annoy him. So, with one hand aimed towards Goten and Trunks, He takes his free hand and then charges another blast, launching it at 18 and Krillin. But then, Goten and Trunks hear someone yell out at them. It's Tien. He tells them now's the time to use their full power, and someone else steps in alongside them. It's Yamcha, performing a Kamehameha, lending his power. And even Tien from nearby tries to use the rest of his energy, realizing that a Kikoho might be too dangerous at the moment. So, even though he doesn't really use this technique, he pulls off the Kamehameha. It's not too hard. Jumping in alongside them, Goten and Trunks then put all their power into this. With Bojack injured and briefly distracted, their combined blast overwhelms him, and Bojack is disintegrated by the beam, as the four of them all fall to the ground, injured and worn out, but victorious. They won. And now, we arrive right back to when King Kai was warning everybody else. He started looking around for Bojack and his crew, and he couldn't sense their energy. He realized the reason for that was because they've already been defeated. When he warned Goku and his crew, it was pretty much right after the people on Earth defeated them. Oh, so it looks like everything's fine then. Now with everything sorted out, Goku teleports everyone else back to Earth. Kibito heals the fighters who killed Bojack, and Goku asks them all what happened here. Krillin says Goten and Trunks did a really good job in the fight they just had. Without those two, they wouldn't have won, and they probably would have died. The two kids give a thumbs up, and Goku and Vegeta are proud of their sons. For Goku, it's both of them because he saw Gohan's power today and Goten's power. Vegeta just hopes that Trunks outshined Goten in this fight. And it looks like now Earth is safe. Boo's been stopped. Janemba's been stopped. Cell was an immediate threat, but he's also been stopped. And even though Bojack barely had any time to do anything, and they didn't even know he was a threat in the first place, he was stopped too. Of course, Earth does have some more threats on the way. Garlic Jr. is out there somewhere. Broly left a lot of blood behind, which could be used for DNA samples. There's a wizard on his way to Earth, ready to unleash something devastating. And, with Dabra's death, the Demon Realm now has a new ruler, with the new King Goma trying to plan his next move. So, we've still got a ways to go before Beerus. And with that, we'll leave off here for now. What'd you guys think about this part? What's gonna happen next? Leave your thoughts and ideas in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help out the channel, and it shows me you want to see more videos like this. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.